Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, as always, to the channel. I had an opportunity tonight to take a listen to the Skip Bayless podcast. And I listened to it because he was talking about Caleb Williams, you know, off-season content, all that stuff, trying to find as much stuff as possible. And they were speaking on Caleb Williams utilizing the George Gervin Iceman nickname. You guys listened to the Morning Breeze this morning. You know my feelings on it, right? I feel like you got to respect George Gervin as the player that he was. He deserved the nickname Iceman. We're not going to disrespect him. But I also think there's a lot of disrespect coming Caleb Williams' way from the older generation. And I'm not going to stand for that either. So if they take it down, if they block the pod, whatever it is, this ain't even really a pod, but if they block the episode, whatever it is, I just want y'all to hear in entirety kind of what I listened to, the part that I listened to that I was like, okay, Rashad McCants is interested speaking on this, but like, I see your point, but I feel like you're missing the Chicago angle on it. And so I need to correct you on that. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I'm going to just play this. Normally, stuff like this on YouTube don't go well for me. So I'm taking a chance here. Hopefully, they don't take it down and block it because they don't like what I'm saying. But we'll see where life goes.
I'm going to make the case that Caleb and his team might not have even been aware that there was a George Gervin who was called the Iceman. Like they don't even know. And they're like, huh? What? Oblivious. And Caleb has always been very respectful of his elders in pro football. So at least if he had known, he could have called George and said, hey, we're thinking about borrowing your nickname. And George is a great, I know him. I've been around him. He would have said, fine, you know, I'm honored, but you got to ask him first before you try to just trademark it out from under him. Yeah. Are you kidding me? And then the Bears fans are saying, well, Caleb does the ice in the veins. Well, that's not original either, because D'Angelo Russell was the first one in your sport who did that. I'm pretty sure. You know, I got ice in my veins. And now Austin Reeves has sort of made it popular again because he's doing it. Now LeBron started doing it on top of Austin Reeves. So there's nothing original about any of this, right? And I love Caleb Williams, and I've been a fan of it, and I supported him being the first overall pick. But, man, originality is the key point here that you made. You got to come up with something new, and usually you can't come up with it. Somebody else has to do it for you, right? Yes. It has to happen just naturally, where organically just it's like, oh, you're fat, right? Okay, whatever. And yet it's funny to me, I don't know if you go back this far, but the origin of the Iceman name was when George Gervin played for the Virginia Squires back in the old ABA days. He had a teammate who started calling him Iceberg Slim. Do you know Iceberg Slim?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, all right. Way back, okay? All right.
Off your collar.
And George didn't like the connotation of it. Yeah. And so he said, okay, I'm going to tweak it a little bit. I don't want to be Iceberg Slim. I'll just be Iceman. I'll be the Iceman, and it stuck. Yep. Okay, so that was original and natural. It just took off, and it's because George was so cool under fire, never changed expressions. Okay, well, so is Caleb, but come up with something new, man. You know, you can do better than this.
Do you know that Caleb responded to you on Twitter?
Nope.
Apparently, this article says that he responded to your comments about this whole drama.
Really? I tweeted about this.
Yeah, I pulled up this article because it was 30 minutes ago.
What did he say?
This article 30 minutes ago says, skip Bayless, because you were talking about it. And so Caleb tweeted, steal, in quotation marks, enjoy that podcast.
Damn.
Apparently. So, and then...
I don't really get the response.
And then there was a screen.
He didn't steal it. He hasn't stolen it.
Then Caleb Williams posted a screenshot definition of the word steal.
Oh, okay.
To take the property of another wrongfully, and especially as a habitual or regular practice. So he clearly doesn't care. He's like, I'm going with Iceman. This is what's happening. I'm not changing my ways.
Come on, you're better than this.
Yeah, don't get out the feelings.
Yeah.
Get out the feelings.
And just to put on record, Skip really likes Caleb.
I do.
You
I've
go for
supported him
Caleb
the whole
all year long on the
time we've been on.
podcast.
Absolutely.
He might not ride for you now, Skip. I'm gonna be honest.
No, but he knows what it means when we say steal in the culture.
The culture.
When you're swagger jacking me.
Swagger jacking.
Yes, that's in our culture. That's just stealing.
Can you post a tweet of the definition of swagger jacking?
I think we should. I think we should.
I like that.
Swagger jacking means this, Caleb. I mean,
is Caleb really in the culture like that?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think he's
because
indulged.
This would be an example
I don't think he's indulged
of swagger
because
jacking.
he would know. And to your point, Skip, once you Google Iceman, this is what happened. He Googled Iceman, and his team said, "Oh, some guy named Gervin. Is it trademark? No.
No.
Well, fuck it. Let's take it." That's exactly what happened.
Go with it.
Oh, is it trademark? No. Oh, fuck it. What's ours? And that's a theft because legally, he hadn't had a trademark because they said that they thought that his last legal counsel had trademarked it and it wasn't trademarked.
Right.
That's some OG shit.
Have you trademarked Cemetery Larry, any of your names?
I haven't.
Oh,
because I have so many of them.
Okay, so essentially that is the basis of the conversation that I had heard. Couple of things that I want to point out in this. Number one, Skip. I know you're not in Chicago, so very different culture, very different world that you vibe with. You're on a national scale. The Bears just got relevant. And so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Skip should know this. But do we think Caleb's stupid? Do we think that Caleb didn't look up who the Iceman? By the way, Caleb's father probably would know, right? If we're talking about who is very involved in his NFL career, in his NFL business, in his life, Caleb Williams' father, do we think that he wouldn't know who George Iceman Gervin is? Do we think that he wouldn't understand that a nickname that was previously used might be used again? By the way, Chuck Liddell, who has also gotten in on this after George Gervin, who was also trying to trademark the nickname after George Gervin. No conversation on that. But that's okay. Apparently, right, we believe that Caleb Williams is oblivious, and no one in his team, as the gentleman who said, I don't know who was sitting next to Skip, the gentleman who was talking about phenomenal glasses, though. The gentleman who was sitting next to Skip, though, who was talking about who George Gervin was and how they went about it. Do we think his father would know? Do we think that a simple Google wouldn't know who George Iceman Gervin is, and you would understand what kind of player he was and the levels that he reached? Again, none of this is a disrespect to George Gervin. But when you're good, a nickname is earned, not self-proclaimed. Caleb Williams didn't call himself the Iceman. Bears fans did that. Caleb Williams didn't go out there and name himself, I'm Caleb Iceman Williams. That's a lame. If he had done that, we'd be like, all right, bro, you gonna nickname yourself? That's crazy. Bears fans did that. By the way, keeping with the Marvel theme that the rest of the team has. Again, you wouldn't know this because you don't pay attention enough to Chicago sports. The entire offensive line, the entire offense itself was named after Marvel characters just about. When you look at the offensive line, there were a bunch of different names that came up in there. Kyler Gordon was Spider-Man. DJ Moore, he was Wolverine because of how quickly he was able to get back to the field. Caleb Williams was Iceman, keeping with the Iceman theme. Again, the Marvel theme. Caleb Williams' nickname when he came in was Superman. But the city gave him that name. When we're talking about a player that doesn't understand the culture, doesn't understand being a part of the culture, the city gave him that nickname because of the levels of play that he was able to get to. By the way, I heard you say that Caleb consistently does the ice in his veins. Again, watch a game. I'm not going to say Caleb has never done ice in his veins, but that is not what Caleb Williams does when he completes a pass. Caleb Williams does, Bears fans do it with me now, the chili, right? It's chilly in here. It's a little cold in here. So again, speaking on him doing the ice in his veins, oh, D'Angelo Russell is the first person we ever seen do that. That's not Caleb Williams' move. If we're talking about originality, name me the athlete that does the it's chilly in here. Trae Young. I would say Trae Young did that in Madison Square Garden. But Trae Young don't win enough on a consistent basis for us to say that that's a Trae Young thing. But again, you wouldn't know this because you're not speaking with Chicago in mind. Caleb Williams is not out here to hurt George Iceman Gervin. It's business. And if we're going to speak on business, let's speak on business, how business is run. If we want to go through the legalities of it and a trademark isn't done, and you want to give somebody a break because a trademark isn't done, that's on you. If somebody wants to come in and take a name that is freely not trademarked, but it is someone's nickname, how many people have been named the Iceman? Let's go through everyone who has been named the Iceman in history. Let's go through movie stars. Let's go through athletes. Let's go through fighters. Let's go through boxers that have been named the Iceman. We didn't have a problem when they said it. We didn't have a problem when they sold their merch. But now when this young man wants to do business the right way, oh, it's a problem because it's one of your favorite athletes. By the way, the host of the show, I don't, let me see. I have her name written down. Skip Bayless show. Hold on, give me a sec. Kinsley Walensky. I want to give her credit. Because first off, by the way, I enjoy the Skip Bayless show. I love the back and forth. I love the controversy. I love the fact that Rashad McCants is out there just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. I love when Gerald McCoy is on the show. Right when Jay Gruden joins the show. When Aqib Talib joins the show. Or Aqib Talib and Jay Gruden. I'm not going to lie. But if we're going to read Caleb Williams' tweet to the cast to have them respond to it, how about we read the tweet? Because all she said was, I don't care about where your fandom stands, enjoy the podcast, and then kind of vaguely talked about that he tweeted the quote, steal, or the definition for steal. I'll read the full tweet for you. Actually, I'll show you the full tweet. How about we do that? I don't care about where your fandom stands. I was trying to give you and everyone else the benefit of the doubt about knowing business and being smart about it, but I guess not. Foolish of me. Also, words matter, Skip Bayless. Steal. Enjoy the podcast. And then he tweeted the definition. When you're hosting a show, don't give the cliff notes. When you're hosting a show that people are reacting to the things that you're saying, and I'll give Skip Bayless the benefit of the doubt on this. Right, like I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that that was the first time, because apparently they were recording. I think Skip said it in there. They had recorded this 30 minutes after Caleb had responded to the tweet. I'll give Skip the benefit of the doubt on this, that he didn't know that Caleb responded, and that this was the first time that he was seeing it. Because Skip is a professional. I love Skip. I love Skip for what he represents for sports debate. Whether you like him, whether you hate him, and his opinions and all of that. There is an entire genre of media that is created because of that man. But to me, to say that Caleb Williams is swagger jacking, to say that Caleb, let's be real, Rashad McCants, let's go to your sport. To say that Caleb Williams is being Jason Tatum is disingenuous. It shows me you didn't watch a Bears game this year. It shows me that you didn't watch football probably until the playoffs got there. It shows me that you probably don't pay that much attention to the sport. And for sure, you're not paying attention to Chicago until you have to. I get that. But what we're not going to do in this whole Iceman debate is say that Caleb Williams is too dumb to know what's going on. Is say that Caleb Williams is not aware about where the culture stands. And we're not going to say that Caleb Williams is trying to hurt anybody out here. He's doing business. And in doing business, you have to have honor and integrity, as Denzel Washington once said best. Caleb Williams moved about the business the right way. You're saying he should have asked George Gervin to use his nickname. Why would he do that? He's got the nickname. It's his nickname. The fans gave it to him, not Caleb. What do you want him to come hands and knees and beg? And then you want him to come out and say, well, George Gervin is the original Iceman. Well, Chuck, you didn't ask Chuck Liddell to do that. In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Skip Bayless, you called Chuck Liddell the Iceman on your show when he was knocking people out like that. Why are you doing it with this young man now? Leave my quarterback alone, bro. It took Chicago years to get one of these. And he's going out there, he's balling out, he's confident, he understands what his star is, and he's getting the job done. Leave that man alone. Y'all are upset because he went about it the right way, and unfortunately, a former Chicago Bull, who I also have a ton of respect for, didn't get that done. George Gervin didn't get that done. And let's not pretend, all of y'all up there on the stand, all the bread y'all got, let's not pretend y'all don't understand business. Let's not pretend that y'all don't understand. You looking for content, you looking for clicks, let's not pretend y'all don't understand business. Caleb Williams, you want to be upset at him for understanding business. Oh, well, you should have asked first. Dwight Howard didn't ask when he got the Superman nickname. People started calling him Superman. He was Superman. But when he came out in the dunk contest and the cape and the shirt, everybody was like, oh, well, that's Shaq. Hold on, wait a minute. You can't just be Superman. Come on, bro. What are we doing right now? I didn't even think this was going to turn into a real story. This is football offseason at its finest. I literally this morning was giving nothing but love and saying, look, you got to see both sides of this. You got to understand both sides of this. I would hope that Caleb Williams allows George Gervin to continue to sell any merch that he may have with Iceman on it. I would hope that he goes out there and he allows Chuck Liddell to sell any merch that has Iceman on it. Any of the multiple people that have Iceman merch. Apparently, I was informed this morning, Drake is coming out with Iceman merch. Nobody saying nothing to Drake. Nobody talking about him dropping a whole album calling himself the Iceman. I don't recall that. I don't remember seeing these tweets, these posts, this much aggression. And Drake was an easy target for most of the people that was out there after the whole Kendrick situation. So what we doing? Leave that man alone. He moving smart in business, and y'all want to act like he the criminal. Figure it out or fall back. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Got some wings cooking up in the oven. I'm finna go grab them. But down, one love. Peace.